Mindful Design Feng Shui School. And while she was getting her BA in psychology at the University of Texas at Austin, that was when her curiosities of the human psyche and human behavior ignited. It led her to a career in technology that spans working at the Department of Energy to now analyzing energy, understanding feng shui and how chi impacts our soul is how she has learned to tap into the psyche and spirit to start her own healing, realizing that everything starts with the foundation of our health and wellness. Please join me in a very warm welcome for Kelly.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. Thank you, Shanti, for opening up this opportunity for me. I've worked with Shanti for quite a while now, and you know, it's a process. Feng Shui is a process. It's not like something where I come into your home and that's a one-time done deal. Like you all know, I think we've talked about it. Qi is ever evolving and dynamic. And that's the same situation in your home. Your energy and your own energy changes. So how do we balance everything? So I think that Sarah covered a lot of that already about me, but you know, an important part of my feng shui journey started with my health. When I came to Los Alamos, I was actually very young and I didn't understand the history or the impact of it. And unfortunately, working there exposed me to some toxic chemicals that eventually led to, you know, dysregulation of my thyroid and my immune system. And so I decided to quit and move to San Francisco, where I was diagnosed with an autoimmunity, lupus, and I went through, you know, a lot of heartache and a lot of physical ailments, but then I decided that I needed to change something, and I discovered Eastern medicine and incorporated that into my wellness. And my traditional Chinese medical doctor actually came to my home and wanted to look at the energy flow of my home. And I was like skeptical at first, but open to it because I was desperate. I was like, okay, anything, I guess anything could work. So I did do what she advised me to do, and lo and behold, my health started shifting, my energy started shifting, and I got better. And despite what doctors at UCSF had told me, I became pregnant and had a daughter. She's now 10 years old, so this has been a long journey, and that curiosity led me to study feng shui. And you know, I realized that I should be helping others find wellness through their homes. So that was my journey to feng shui. So I'm here today to, you know, kind of give you kind of basic groundwork on what feng shui is, but I think a lot of you already have a basic understanding of some of it. So feng shui, can anybody out here tell me what you know about feng shui or what it means to you? Anybody? Sure.
What I've learned is that it's the movement of energy in your home, and you can put different things so that the energy flows, like closing the toilet seat is prosperity.
Yeah. Right. Do you have anything else to add?
Ditto.
Ditto. Right. I mean,
It's the way to organize your space in the most dynamic way for your well.
energy to flow, right? Yeah. So it essentially it means wind and water in Chinese, where the ancient practice of feng shui started. So initially, it's a Taoist principle based in ancient China over thousands of years ago. So it was initially a practice to find auspicious places to bury the dead. And then it evolved to, well, how do we build communities and how do we build homes that are the most, you know, effective for our well-being and survival? Really, it's to like protect yourself from the energy of the wind. You know, where do we build communities and homes and have proximity to water, which is life, right? And the goal of feng shui really is to optimize the energy flow of your qi with the energy of your environment, your home, your business, your community. And there are very basic principles that I will cover today that are the foundation of Feng Shui. And one is Qi. And I think that we all understand what Qi is. I think that we had discussed this earlier. You know, it's this life force. Whoops. Well, there's supposed to be a bowl of rice with steam coming out of it. I don't know why it's not playing right now. But I put that bowl of rice with steam on it because the symbol, the character for Qi in Chinese is steam rising from rice, which is, you know, rice is like a vital energy source and food for a lot of Asian cultures. So that makes a lot of sense. So we all know that Qi is this invisible life force that we all have. Like it surrounds us, it's within us, and it's energy. And there are different, you know, terminology for it in different religions and cultures as well. Prana, for those that practice yoga. And then the other concept that's really important is this yin and yang concept, this like dual inseparable force between like the black and the white, but these opposing forces. So yin and yang are complementary opposites. Yin is dark, receptive, and female, and yang is light, active, and male. And together they make a whole. It's this dynamic energy, always trying to find that balance. And the other concept we'll cover is this 5-element concept. These are 5 dynamic energies that are constantly relying on each other. There's a constructive force and the destructive force, and together they create this balance. So one is wood. Wood will create fire in a constructive energy force. And then fire creates earth. And earth then creates metal. And metal creates water. And these 5 energies all related to different seasons, but different organs and colors. I mean, there are many different energies, and you know what they are tied to as well. So today I'll talk about creating harmony in your own home and what you can do on a daily basis to incorporate that into your daily living. So I'll start with clutter. It's not a fun subject to talk about, but it's something that we all live with, unfortunately. It's just part of daily living. You know, we bring home things from our outer environment and bring those things back and forth, whether you're coming home with, you know, your work bag or your, you know, books from the library or school bags and shoes and shopping bags. And so, you know, clutter is something that can create disharmony in your environment because it creates blockages all along your home. So whether it's like a pile of mail on your kitchen counter to like a bunch of shoes sitting at your front door, it's blocking the qi that surrounds your environment. But not only that, it's like creating kind of this chaos in your brain too, because like visually your brain has to process everything that's around you, and they're like these constant reminders of, oh, I got to do that. I got to drop off that bag of clothes to Goodwill. I got to like declutter that closet that's like, you know, bursting at the seams. So there are a few simple things to kind of focus on when we're decluttering and creating space in your home. And one, I would start with your entryway, because this is like the mouth of qi. This is where energy comes to your home. This is how energy finds you and nourishes you. So it makes sense that starting with your entryway is the best way. And that means, okay, when you open that door and you enter your home, what do you see? Do you see a bunch of shoes sitting around and you're going to trip over those shoes? Well, easy thing to do is find a place for those shoes. Where are you going to stick those shoes when you come into the door? What about those jackets, right? Like, I mean, we live in a place where we wear jackets year round, so find a like coat hanger. Maybe a little basket where you can put your mail so that it's not just sitting on, you know, the chair somewhere. So that's a good place to start. And then 2 is to clear those surfaces. I know that at the end of the day, our counter, our island is filled with anything that you can find, from water bottles to food to mail to Amazon boxes. So at the end of the day, I'll say it's time to clear the counter, and everybody starts picking up things that there are, that are theirs, and then we start putting things away where they belong. So, my daughter will clear off her school homework or her bags and her lunch bag, and it's a good way to like mentally free yourself from what's out there. Like, oh, it's that, you know, it's that pile of mail again, right? So that's a good place to start. Even like your kitchen counter, like this picture over here with all those mugs and pots and pans. Obviously, we want to clear that up, even on a hygiene level, right? Floors. I have this thing with floors. I cannot stand stuff all over the floors. It's something about how it makes me feel unease. And so I will pick things up. I have a border collie that I've trained to pick up her own toys. So I'll be like, clean up. And so she'll like go, and one by one, she'll go and take everything to her basket. And, and I tend to have to vacuum often because of all the fur as well, but just dust. Yes.
What pictures of your house?
They are not pictures of my home, but, I mean, my bedroom can look like that. My husband travels a lot, and there's a suitcase in our bedroom very often, but he's very good at unpacking his stuff very quickly. And the third one is, if there are larger projects where you do need help decluttering, I do offer those services. And the thing is, clutter does elicit a lot of emotions for people, and I think that we tend to push things aside and not deal with them because we know that there's something there that we might not want to face, right? So bringing in a friend, a really nice friend that can spend a day with you and help you with that closet that you've been neglecting, or bringing in someone like me who can bring a feng shui understanding behind it really helps, because, even where you collect clutter says a lot about you and where it's affecting your home and your health and your well-being. And I like to say, just set a little timer. Even 9 minutes a day makes a huge difference. All right, so going on to optimizing your entryway. This might be one of the most important things, just because your doorway is this portal to your own home, your sanctuary, your privacy, right? So if you neglect this space, it's like, you're hiding from the world. You don't want people to find you, so just spending a little bit of time to intentionally clean that front door. Just take a wet, washcloth and wipe it down. It's dirty. Like, you'll look at it and it's like, oh my God, there's that dust and cobweb that's been accumulating for months. And sweep off your deck, sweep off your front entryway, like, shake out that front doormat. I gave you these examples of these front doors. And this one's actually my entryway right here, but these doors are pictures I've taken. Like, I like to take pictures of front doorways when I go and travel and see something interesting, but this one is a bright, beautiful, cheerful doorway that's like a number 9, which is auspicious, but also like, what does yellow say to you, right? This pink one, this was taken in North Carolina when I was traveling. I just thought it was so beautiful. But both of these, interestingly, have these plants that like kind of welcome that energy flow in. This is my entryway, like I do have places for slippers and shoes and coats and mail and keys and everything. And then on the other side, we have, 2 of these I've taken. The other one was a stock photo, but, you can see they are darker, right? Less inviting. There's like dead leaves in the front, which is like yin energy, right? You want this yang energy, this energy flow coming through your front door. And this other one was a client of mine with like really challenging health issues and problems with stuff in her life. But, when I came to try and find her home, it was like she was planning to move here. So she wanted me to come and take a look at the energy flow. And it was like, first of all, like super, super hard to find the home. It was like down this small alley in San Francisco. And I was like having to like walk down up these steep hills and try and find that alleyway. And I couldn't really even find, okay, there's a tiny doorbell on the side, but like, you know, I won't get into it, but the doorway opens straight to a staircase that goes straight up. So it's like this chi that just whooshes right through without even, you know, getting a chance to nourish any part of the home. And this one also is another client of mine. Beautiful home in Tiburon. And you know that I live in Sausalito, but even in Tiburon, you have these beautiful hills, but there can be challenges to some of these homes that live below the street level because energy kind of flows through the street. And then it's like, oh, there's that house at the, you know, that doorway at the bottom of the street level. So the best thing to do is really like lighten up that entryway and bring in lighting, bring in mirrors to expand that front entry and use colors. What colors like will make you happy when you go through that front door? The next thing that we should be paying attention to your house is the window. Oh, I wanted to say that your doorway, your door actually in feng shui represents your voice. So like, what does that say when a door is squeaky or it's stuck and it doesn't open? That says something about your voice and how you can express yourself inside your house. Windows. So, you know, obviously, like this beautiful facility has all these gorgeous, large, clean windows letting in natural light. Like we can see these kids playing out in the playground, right? Imagine if this place had like all, you know, dark walls and we couldn't see outside and we didn't get natural lighting. Same thing with your house, right? Your your eyes are connected to your windows in feng shui. It's how we see the world, it's how we can visualize our life. So, one thing to do is just intentionally clean those windows, like I said. Pick your window cleaner of choice and a rag, and it makes a huge difference. And I try and get our windows cleaned professionally at least once a year, and it's like a huge difference. All of a sudden, all this light comes in. You never realize how much dust and dirt accumulates. So, while you're intentionally cleaning your window, think about why you're doing it. I'm inviting in clarity, I'm inviting in perspective. I envision myself doing this or that in the world. Number two, letting in natural light. I mean, you know, with these windows, we have window coverings as well. Just open up those curtains, let in the light, because, I mean, it's just science. Like getting fresh sunlight every day, like modifies and regulates your circadian rhythm. You get better sleep, which you know overall is your health at the end of the day. Three is just open up the windows and just let in fresh air. You know, we're lucky to live in a place where we have such mild climate that, you know, we can just even 9 minutes a day, open up those windows, let that chi flow through. And obviously, these are not my windows. I mean, look how beautiful these are, but then you have these dark, dirty windows. How would you feel in these circumstances, right? You don't want anything obstructing that vision. All right, so going on to mindful furniture arrangement, I think we all know that how you arrange your home, your furniture, and that is, you know, a principle in feng shui. How do we shift things so that it's optimized for your energy, not the person sitting next to you, not your neighbor, but for you, because you're the one living in this space, right? And an important concept in feng shui, this commanding position. And there are three areas that are the most important when you're looking at this. This is a position where you're standing and looking at the entryway and the doors and seeing where you are. You want to be away from the door, but be able to see the door, facing the door. You don't want your back turned against the door. Like if I'm standing like this, I'm not in command. I feel like there's, you know, there's something going on behind me that I can't sense, but our unevolved primitive brain will tell you, oh, it's this fight or flight response that you get, this low level stress that you encounter, whether you're sleeping, where you're working, or you're standing at your stove. So there are three areas that we focus on. One is your stove. Your stove represents your wealth and your health, and that's how you nourish yourself. So a stove is not easy to move, obviously, in a home. So there are certain adjustments that we can do in Feng Shui to put you in command. So if you're not in command standing your stove, like, the food quality could be, diminished, and your resources could be lacking. So, when you're not only should you be standing in command, but like you should be taking care of your stove, because your stove represents your resources. So the next area would be your desk. And whether you're working or checking emails, sitting at your computer, or taking care of bills, whatever it is, you want to position yourself where you're, in command. You can see the door, but you're not sitting right straight in line with the door, right? And you don't want to be sitting up against a wall, because then you feel like you're up against a wall. You don't have that vision to be able to see beyond that, right? The energy flow is really, really blocked. So, so when you're sitting in man and working, you might be able to have, a better vision of where you want to go in your career, in life, right? And then lastly is your bed, which is probably the most important when it comes to trying to figure out where to place your bed for optimal sleep and rest. This is where you're spending hours of your life just in this very yin state. You're sleeping, so you want to be able to put your brain at rest and your body at rest, so you're not feeling like, oh my God, like something's going to come at me, something's going to come through the door. Maybe you're not consciously thinking that, but your primitive brain is thinking that. So having a sturdy, like a headboard for your bed, and being able to put yourself in command makes a huge difference in the quality of rest that you actually get. And obviously the quality of sleep that you get will affect your overall health and well-being. And next, nature. I think that, primitively, we're all wired to feel like we need to connect with nature. I mean, imagine a home, like a very modern home that's very sterile and like a lot of metal energy, but doesn't have a lot of wood, chi in there. It feels really cold, doesn't it? So for many of us, I love plants. I have a sunroom, and I rotate my plants around and move them around based on where I feel like energy might be stuck. I kind of started thinking of myself as like an acupuncturist for your home, because basically you're kind of putting needles and pressure points into areas of your home where you need flow. And you can do this, and we actually do this using Feng Shui with a lot of adjustments. So, even in your bedroom, I know that there are a lot of Feng Shui schools that say otherwise, but I study a Feng Shui method that is more modernized and reflects how we live in the world today. And as all of us know, there are holistic benefits to having plants in your home. And it comes down to like just calming your nerves and reducing your stress, enhancing your mood, and boosting your immune functions. Like plants actually filter out toxins from the environment that you breathe in. So that to me is super important. And then we're going to go into color in the 5 elements, because this is something, I mean, I see everyone here coming in with different colors and what you wear and what the energy you bring out into the world today, right? It's the same thing in your environment. What you put in your home emits like vibrations, energy vibrations, right? And back to the 5 elements, now that I'll go deeper into it, like I said, it's connected to many different things, from seasons to organs to taste to emotions and colors. So with wood, you can think of a plant, a tree, right? Green leaves, So wood is represented by blue and green colors, and you know, it represents like new energy, new growth, and healing. So this is a good color to bring in if you want to invite in, like, you know, very healing energy. It's also connected to family when it comes to feng shui. So wood creates this fire energy as well. So in this constructive cycle, we have fire next. And fire is represented by the colors red and orange, these passionate, really strong young colors. And you can bring this in with color, but you can also bring this in by just an element like you know, a fireplace or a candle, or you know, something triangular, because even shapes are connected to these 5 elements. And this could be brought in to give you some inspiration or some passion and some strength. It's like red is the color of blood, right? And fire creates earth, and in feng shui, earth is, you know, represented by either a mountain. You have this strong, sturdy energy, or you have the energy of nurturing earth, like the soil, the sand that we walk on. And you can bring in the yellow color or a sandy terracotta color, something that represents the earth. And this is more grounding and creates boundaries as well. And then you have metal. Like I said, metal is this very like sharp, precise energy. And you can, depending, I mean, metal can be really sharp. So depending on what you want, if you want to bring in more focus and clarity, then you can bring in metal energy, and you can bring in like this vase right here, or you can bring in different hardware or lamps. But a quick way would be just color. So you can bring in a gray color or even something metallic, or white. White is like just plain. This is more of like a warm, like there are warmer whites, but like if you want in a more metallic energy, then you bring in just a pure white. And then last but not least, we have water. Water is deep and it's dark, and you know, it's connected to actually fear in feng shui is the emotion, and but it's also this connection to intuition and your feelings and fluidity. So you can bring in a lot of black if that's what something that's if that's what's calling you, but you know, you can also actually bring in water. So whether it is a water fountain or like a fishbowl or something, and this is bringing in more of this like deep intuitive energy. And also you can bring in like wavy patterns as well. I love wallpaper, and so when I was looking for wallpaper to bring in energy, I would look for whether it's a pattern or even textures. Textures can elicit like either calm energy or harsh energy, right? So there are wallpapers that are soft, and then there are wallpapers that might have like patterns of like sharp edges that might be a little bit more young. All right. So, you know, maybe look around your space in your home, and then try and go deep and see what color you feel like you want in that space. And that says a lot about maybe what you might be lacking, or what you want to bring into your life, you know. I see purple is a common color today. Purple is a color of power. It's a color, I mean, actually, it used to be a color of royalty. So, you know, there's a lot to say about what color you are drawn to. Pink. Pink is a color of love. It's a feminine yin color, right? It's color that's connected to motherhood. But yeah, you might want to kind of do a little bit of a edit and go into your home and like look room by room and see what color might be lacking, what you want to bring into that room. It could be just temporary. It could be just a bouquet of flowers like this. Look at that. Yellow is joy, pink is love, right? Love and joy. So, you know, I call your home as a sanctuary because it should be. It should be a place where you come home and you feel at ease and joy, right? And you should nurture it just like it's a living, breathing thing, because it is, right? Every person that's lived in that home before you put in some sort of energy. It has a history, right? It has a story. Nurture it and take care of it, and that becomes all that you wish it to be. Right? So, you know, any of you that are ready to begin your feng shui journey, I'm here, and this is where you can find me.